Lisa, can you hear us? Well, I think everybody's on the call. It still sounds like Lisa's trying to dial in for the voice. But I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody for planning for the November 16th training. I'm excited. We're calling it Navigating the Flow. So the purpose of this meeting is to overview what we're doing, to review the classes, the sign-up, etc. Materials needed from the trainers, questions and materials you might have from us. Does anybody have anything else specific that you want covered on the call?
And I'm hoping Sharon's going to be here. Do you know if she's still planning on coming? Joining us?
Sharon's right next to me.
Oh, good. Hi, Sharon.
Sharon and Bill are both next to me.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, okay. So yeah, they're just hiding behind. They have no name, but they're right. No name in the window, but they're right here next to me.
We're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. So, actually, since Linda and Connie are sort of new to our group, I'm going to have everybody sort of introduce themselves and, and say just what you do. So we'll start with, well, I'm Rick Winter. I am with ECCLA, and I am the data evaluation and member support person, but that means I'm in charge of lots of things, including training.
I'm Sharon Kaiser, the Director of Finance and Operations at the Denver Council, and I've also been kind of the lead on the ECConnect expansion grant that is funded through CDHS Race to the Top.
Hey everyone, I'm Bill Blakely. I do software development for ECCLA, and I do a lot of the data analysis and other things like that.
Stacy, can you go next?
Sure. I'm Stacy Petty. I'm the Rock Mountain Early Childhood Council Coordinator, and I'm also an ECCLA board member and help any way I can.
Thank you, Stacy. Lisa?
Hi, I'm Lisa Sauter. I'm with the Early Childhood Council of Larimer County, and regardless of the title, pretty much do the program management for our quality initiatives.
Okay, Lelania?
I'm Lelania with the Denver Early Childhood Council, and I am the lead navigator.
Okay. Linda, why don't you go?
I'm Linda Franklin, and I'm an ERS trainer at
Did you draw? Are you still there, Linda?
I am.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you dropped off. So that's okay. Connie, go ahead.
I'm Connie Norton, and I am an ERS trainer at Clayton Early Learning also. And we're glad to be on the meeting and planning for some training.
Cool. And Jose, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jose. Can you hear me? I'm with ECCLA.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm helping Rick with all the tickets and doing a lot of writing for the training.
Thank you all for being on the call. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Jose is going to be our sort of chat box monitor. It's a little hard for me to see all the windows. So Jose will stop me if we get a question. And he can type answers if you just want to talk rather than chat in the window, things like, and he's definitely gets in charge of interrupting me as much as he wants. Okay. So just as a review, the training will be on November 16th at the Community First Foundation. The address is 5855 Wadsworth Bypass, Arvada, Colorado. There's going to be three rooms, 2 big rooms and 1 small room. We have a lot of great trainers and support people that will be helping us, and you've met most of them. We also have ECCLA is going to be helping us with whatever we need. For example, Sarah, she's been doing registration and refreshments. So we've got a lot of wonderful people. Okay. So what I wanted to do is sort of go over, we have 4 sessions. There's going to be 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Each session is 75 minutes. We did already send out requests for people to sign up for classes, and I know that we have sort of, there's been emails going back and forth about changing the classes, but this gives us a general idea of, the sign up. This was as of yesterday. We had 50 people signed up for the class, and you can sort of see that the sugar is the sort of number 1 and 2 in the column over here. So we have, around 20 for each sugar signed up. Could be more or less. And then the number 3 is the coaching type classes, and those also are around 20, with the exception of the last class. And then we have sort of other types, which range from, actually a bigger range from 11 to 24. So that gives you an idea of who signed up, and I did send out a notice, and I will continue to send out that that the courses may change as the instructors get going. So one of the things that happened is the trainers started looking at the courses and what made more sense, and so there are a number of changes based on like who would be taking the classes as well as what the levels would be. So here were the suggestions for changing the courses that we would provide related to sugar. So the first one is a basic course of navigating, and then the second one is applications and MOUs, and that's for all levels. And from the perspective of the welcome, we got an extra person on the phone. That's okay. And the grant lead. And then processing QI requests would also be for all levels, and the QI navigator and grant lead. And then reconciling spending and updating requisitions is an intermediate for the grant lead and financial, and then using funding streams as your control panel for intermediate and grant lead. Are there any, from the point of view of those that are on the call related to sugar, are there any comments, questions? Does this sound better than what we originally had? Yes. Melania said yes?
I like this perspective too, Rick.
Okay. Thanks, Lisa.
And things from this morning's call that made me wonder, even I think several sugar calls ago when the original idea was shared with everyone about doing this training, I think there was some discussion about, talking about some of that intent and purpose behind sugar might be helpful for these people, and I think this morning's call said that would be helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we have like for lunch, are we having like a break for lunch?
Yeah, we are having an hour break for lunch.
Do we want to have kind of a keynote during lunch about the intent and purpose of sugar?
That might be a good idea for lunch.
So everybody hears the same thing?
Uh-huh.
Potentially?
So let me, Jose, can you take that down? And just put the suggestion down for keynote for lunch for purpose of sugar.
It would be nice if it was not us.
Yeah,
doing that.
it would be nice if it was not me or Sharon or Bill or
Yeah, and I wondered if it wouldn't be good as a panel and
yeah.
to share that from a couple of different perspectives.
I like that. I like
That's a
that.
great idea.
Then you guys could talk.
We're allowed to speak. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I like that idea too. So a panel,
I
and
think that is important to bring forward as, you know, what you guys bring to it too.
Thank you.
yeah, as long as our voice isn't too loud.
Yep.
Yeah. so on the panel, who would we want, or what kind of positions would we want?
It seems like it might be nice to have, this is an actual person, but Bev might be, if she was available, might be interesting to have because she's been involved on the ECCLA board and really
Thinking the same thing, Sharon.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I think she just does a really great job of talking about how we as councils can be united in making decisions and having a decision-making process and a governing structure for the data system and how that strengthens us as councils. And she's just done a really great job of being the voice saying that on many calls in the past. So.
Yeah, I agree. Can you ask her?
I would be happy to ask her.
Okay. So who else or what other positions do we want?
You know, I don't know if it's partly as follow-up to Bev sharing that perspective, but if there are some folks that sort of have that same a similar outlook, but a different from the actual use of it, because Bev isn't an actual user, but she gets that very high level, so kind of a next user level down. So
A visionary user? Is that what you're...
You know, I think actually I would nominate either or both Lisa and Stacy Petty. I think both of you have amazing perspectives that you bring, and you absolutely value sugar, but you also make it known when there's something that's not going on the way it should, and that's really important. So I would say both of you would be great to have on that.
I agree.
So,
okay.
and thinking about this in the time.
What did you say, Lisa?
I was just saying, so thinking about this and sort of making sure we are conscious of our time when, however it's structured, so we can get it accomplished in that break.
Right, and you guys have to eat too, so that's one of the challenge. You're going to be part of the trainers, so we got to make sure. Well, maybe it's only like 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, maybe
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I nominate Sharon because she has the background as far as being from this before the start. So is that all right, Sharon?
So then, this is Stacy. I'm wondering, would we have set questions that we're dealing with, or is this an open question sort of venue? Like, what are we trying to accomplish with the panel?
It seems that we would need a facilitator, which maybe could be Rick, who could open up the topic by stating kind of what our written purpose is, and that's kind of related to the ECConnect expansion grant and ECCLA's strategic planning and kind of the overall plan that ECCLA has put together on councils using sugar. And then maybe ask some questions that, the panel members already know what the questions are so we can prepare.
Yes, please.
That are specific to the purpose and use and vision. And I think I don't know if it's maybe really the value add. Maybe that's how we should frame it, as like, what is the value of using a system like sugar? And maybe we can use some of what was discussed in the call this morning. I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe we could do a presentation of it, like a summary of that SWOT analysis or something like that.
Yeah, I think generally the questions would be purpose, value, and vision. Those would be the primary. And we don't have a lot of time if it's going to be 20 minutes. And, and then we have the 5 panel members.
So I guess maybe what we could do is we could say maybe 15 minutes could be sort of the introduction, and then maybe 15 minutes for questions or comments from the audience. And maybe we could do this at the second half of lunch.
Well, we do have the introduction at the beginning as well. So like what the conference from 9 to 9:30 is so we could, I want to leave most of the time for the panel. So like I could do the introduction at the beginning and then just really short recap at lunch. So you guys would have the time to do their panel stuff at lunch.
So with the panel would still be at lunch, but we're introducing it in the morning, basically.
Right.
So like we're like, this is what we think the purpose is. Now go to your training, and then we're going to talk about it at lunch.
Right, something like that. Does that sound okay, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I do want, if it's only like 20 minutes or so for the panel, I don't want to take most of the time myself. I want you guys to talk. That's the important thing.
No, that sounds really good.
Cool. All right, I'm going to move on to the coaches so they don't fall asleep. So the change for the coaches, we had just class 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so what Sarah has been working with Linda and Connie is sort of, there would be an overview, and then the other 3 classes would be more detail for Eckers, Edders, and how do you say the last one? Fickers.
Not the other way.
Okay. Yeah, I was worried about saying it the wrong way. So, Connie or Linda, do you want to take this and describe a little bit more?
Well, sure. So we basically thought, I know that the QI navigators are supporting a lot of the programs. So I thought, for example, for the Eckers, we would do an overview as far as the purpose of the tool, a little bit more about Clayton, the rationale behind the scoring, and then generate a list of, for example, burning questions that they have about the specific Eckers tool for the one session, and then provide a list of, we have hints that they can use as they guide programs towards getting ready for their Colorado Shines ratings. And we have that for each of the 3 tools.
Sounds good. Any questions on that?
So this is a kind of a somewhat unrelated question, but Sarah, could you give an update on where we are with getting the materials, the Colorado Shines help materials? What's that?
Sarah's not on the call.
Oh, Sarah's not on the call. Do you know anything about that, Rick? If OEC, because her documents are done.
Right, and we're waiting for
release
approval.
them,
right, yeah.
Because it sure would be nice to have those at this training.
Yes, it sure would.
What kind of documents are they sharing?
These are what Sarah has been working on at ECCLA that are toolkits for
Okay.
provider coaches.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Where it kind of maps some of the ERS stuff to the Colorado Shines and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be good. And I know she's working on, there's sort of a broader, that non-OEC piece. So I know she's working on those different, but we can ask her. Jose, can you make sure that we ask Sarah what we can put out for the tools?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably might not be the whole toolkit, but it could be pieces of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is Linda again. It would be great if you guys are able to get a a copy of that or some information that we could just look over beforehand, so we would just be able to make some more, be more informative to the navigators as they ask us questions that might pertain to our work and their work.
Ooh,
yeah, that makes sense. And I have not seen it yet. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but so navigators haven't seen these documents until quickly.
Okay, so with the sort of changes, I have the sessions sort of rearranged. Application and MOUs, recording, coaching, the overview, and then the basics of navigating the online databases. Those were the first three, and actually one of my purposes is to find out who would be the lead of each of the courses, and then who would be supporting them. So who would be the lead for the application and MOUs?
Do we need to look at it kind of like a matrix of what time everything is at?
Yeah, the first session is so this is at the first time, and then number 2 is the second session, which is, so this is like 9:30, this is 11, so yeah, so 1, 2, 3, and 4 are different times. So yeah, we couldn't have the same trainer for application and MOUs and basics of navigating online databases.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Lelania for these first, the application and MOUs and processing QI requests. Does that make sense, Lelania?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think I would give it to Kelly just because I feel like she has more experience doing presenting in general.
Uh-huh.
But I'd be happy to share that responsibility with her.
Okay. So, and I was trying to figure out where to put Bill and Sharon, which of the 2 rooms, so because they would be there to support any challenging questions or questions specifically about sugar, and how it works. So I thought about putting Bill in that first room, well, with those first 2, and then this next ones for sugar, reconciling spending and updating requisitions, and then using funding streams as your control panel. I just put Stacy as the reconciling spending and updating requisitions, and Lisa as using funding streams as your control panel. But then Sharon in both of those rooms together. Does that make sense for the 2 of you?
Yeah,
That's fine with me.
That sounds good to you. Yeah, I'm fine with being placed wherever you need me, and I think Bill is the same. I do think the basics of navigating online databases, I wonder if there's someone who's really a user who could do that one. So I would almost think Lelania would be good for that one because, and Lelania, I'm sorry for volunteering, and you can say no, but I was thinking what would be really cool is if you could really talk about how using the database kind of changed the way you do your work, because you've been with us forever and you used to, get, handwritten notes for QI requests, and now you're in this sophisticated database and you're leading a team of people doing QI requests, and you know a lot about filtering and dashboards and reports and all the little things like refreshing your browser or clearing your cache, and all these little tips on what it's like to be on an online environment and what the value add is of being there. What do you think about that, Lelania?
I think it makes sense. I just have to probably put together a PowerPoint or something to guide that conversation versus trying to just talk about it, I think. So I wouldn't necessarily be doing any demonstration demonstrations in the same way that I would have thought that I was going to do in the first option, which was applications and MOUs. But it makes more sense for me to be able to kind of go through the basics and talk about how to use both EC Connect and Sugar, placing orders and all those things, right? That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. So, maybe what we could do is have Kelly and Bill in the applications and MOUs, because Bill is really the expert at MOU issues. And then you and I, me and Lelania, can do the basics of navigating online databases. So, Lelania, you'll keep me grounded on Earth, and I will try not to, like, overcomplicate things. But I think there's a lot of cool stuff that you gain from being in an online database. So I think between the two of us, you can give sort of the how you actually use it day to day, and I can give kind of the quick tips kinds of things.
Okay, and so and that's different enough from processing QI requests?
Yeah, I think we don't need to get into actually doing any activities. I think it's remember who our audiences are. This is really for beginners. Like, we always use Google Chrome, and this is why we use Google Chrome. This is why we're using an online database, because we can access it from anywhere. And if you're running into an issue, you might want to try refreshing and then try again, because usually it's just something that the web browser is having a problem with, but it's not actually the system itself. Or this is how you clear your cache. This is a filter. This is how to create a dashlet. Those kinds of things.
Okay.
And this is Stacy. Feel free to plug me in that first session if you need me somewhere, or in the second one too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted to give people breaks and didn't have people do all four, but if people want to go to the other sessions as either helpers or learners, certainly that's what I was
sure
trying to do.
I've taught multiple all day long kind of workshop things, so doing the all day thing just, I guess, doesn't bother me. So
cool.
So for the recording coaching ERS overview QIP goals, I see Linda and Connie as coaches are on that one. Do we also want someone who's not actually a coach to be on there as well? Like maybe Stacy, that would be a good place for you if you were comfortable with that.
sure.
So on the number 2, this or both of them,
here.
the overview. Okay, so we'll add Stacy to the recording coaching overview.
Maybe then we can go into the why it matters to be careful when you're recording coaching so that it's accurate and we don't run into reconciling issues later, because we know that our coaching records have been one of the areas of the data system that have had a lot of data entry issues. So I think kind of emphasizing that would be really important in that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then processing QI requests. Lelania, you said Kelly would be the primary lead and you would be helping her, and then Bill would be in the room too. That's in the session 2. Lelania, is that what you had said for both the having Kelly be the primary lead trainer, and then you?
I can. Let me talk to Kelly about that, but you can go ahead and put me as the lead. And,
okay, cool.
I feel like Kelly and I would be kind of leads on that.
Okay, so Kelly and Lelania co-leads on that one. And then recording coaching, we have for Eckers, we have Linda and Connie. Do we need somebody else? Do we need that in the, okay. Then customer service and conflict management, we are talking with another group. That's why I put to be determined for another group to do that. Or I would either do it myself or have somebody, or get somebody else corralled for it. Okay, reconcile spending and updating requisitions. We have Stacy as the lead, Lisa as sort of a helping, and then Sharon for extra questions. Does that work with everybody?
I think Yeah, and I think we could do the co-lead sort of idea with a lot of these sessions. I think we're going to be capitalizing on everybody's strengths and doing a lot of it together, unless what your idea is the lead is the one kind of making sure we've got an agenda and kind of got things lined out.
Yeah, that was my idea, that the lead would be responsible, sort of communicating with me, that if you needed anything for me, or like for the description, the agenda, or whatever items, you know, that I would be contacting that person as well. But you can certainly work out like who talks and who does what and how you want to organize it, with one person showing it versus another person, you know, walking around the room, however you want to do that.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have ITERs the same way we had in session 2 with Linda and Connie. And then what I did is, because there were only 5 of the items on the other one, I decided to divide stress management and adult learners into 2 different pieces. And again, we have to be determined, or me, for stress management. Then using funding streams as your control panel, we have Lisa as the main lead and Sharon there to help. Does that work?
I think discussing exactly what you would like shared on this one would be helpful to me. I certainly have messed around with funding streams, good or bad. But, you know, really being clear on, for me, what it is that we want to share in that one, because it's.
Yeah, this is Sharon. Yeah, I think
what we could talk about that, Sharon, you know,
yeah,
and work that out. I'm being upfront about wanting to be clear what we want to do there.
Yeah, I agree. And you already sent out that email to councils, right, just now? So about the funding stream. Mm-hmm. So we are taking to heart all of the feedback, lots of feedback about funding stream, and we are going to be decluttering that and kind of removing all the ancillary fields. And so, Lisa, maybe what we could do is, I plan on doing that before I leave today. And so I'll shoot you an email once that's done and kind of get your thoughts on the new layout. By new layout, I mean like just way less fields.
Sure.
So everything in the same place, just less of them. And then, sure. And then you and I can kind of brainstorm on what might be useful for people. But I was sort of thinking on this area, focusing mostly on the roll-up fields, like the participation count and how you can use it to adjust your application settings, or if you want to set up a rubric, or those kinds of things where the budget is a really important element, but there are other things that you get from the funding stream record. That are not controversial at all. You can set some goals on what types of participants you want, and those kinds of things that might be helpful to kind of go through. So that was sort of what I was thinking with that one.
So you're definitely talking over my head. So I'm wondering if it would be better for us to talk, but that maybe you take some lead with that, and then I can just maybe talk more as a user and things that I've done.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. I can take the lead on that. And I think this one is really evolving. So I think maybe part of the session is also collecting feedback on how people are using it now, or not using it at all, and kind of figuring that out. So.
Or what would they want to do if they ventured onto a funding stream they wanted to do? Yeah.
Exactly. If they ventured onto it, I like that.
They just happen to be there. It's like, what do I do?
Yeah. What would they love to be able to accomplish from their funding stream?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's cool. Okay, so Jose, can you make? Yeah, you got it. Sharon takes the lead, and I act as the user. Okay. And then Connie and Linda will be doing the. How do you say that again?
Stickers.
Stickers. Okay. And then Stacy, you had mentioned that you're in a master's program on adult learners. So one of the reasons why I split that is that I thought you would be able to do that session. Would that work for you?
Sure. Yeah. I completed my master's, and one of the semesters we spent was about adult learning styles. So I can certainly do that. I wondered, though, if you had had any specific requests from people about what, I mean, are they wanting to learn what kind of learner they are? They're wanting to learn how to work with customers and figure out they are. You know, I mean, I can do a basic adult learners class, but if there was any specifics anybody asked for, it would be helpful.
Well, I think QI navigators have to sort of teach the providers, don't they? And so one of their roles, you know, in a way is to be a teacher. And so I was thinking from that perspective, but I'd like to hear what the rest of you were thinking, you know, would like.
Which, I mean, that all kind of ties into customer service as well.
Mm-hmm. I took one of the adult learning courses that's meant for coaching, and it was really helpful to really kind of understand that there's different styles of learning. And so my thought around the adult learners course would be an opportunity for people to really think about different ways to help the providers understand the information. That it's not necessarily just as cut and dry as we think it is because we're so used to using it.
Yes, of course.
Elena, would you want to co-teach that course with Stacy?
No, I don't necessarily feel like I have the, I mean, I feel like I just really touched on that subject. It was really, had so much more information that I would wanted to learn. And I wanted to go back and take that course again, but they won't let navigators take it. And so I don't feel, I don't know, whoever at the state, we've asked multiple times, and they said that it's for coaches, and they won't give us permission to take it.
We'll change that. That's okay. We'll get that fixed.
Well, one of the things when you teach a course, you awfully learn more than when you're just taking a course.
Of course.
One quick thing I was wondering, do we want to put stress management in session 4 and adult learners in session 3 because anyone attending our reconciling spending might want to take stress management and after that?
Yeah, we can switch those too.
If you do that, I'm going to be teaching in 2 places.
Yeah, Stacy would be teaching in 2 places.
Oh, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So maybe the stress management folks will come into the reconcile spending at the end and teach what we taught. I mean, show what we learned. Okay. All right. So I have a sort of a timeline. What I would like to do is continue to inform all the people that signed up, and obviously let them know about the change in the courses. We probably won't, well, we're deciding whether to have them re-sign up or just they come to the course that's there. We got an estimated number, but if we could get from all the lead teachers, and obviously the co-teachers would be helping do this, is an objective and description of the course by October 31st, which is, it's soon, it's Monday, but if we could do that, could everybody think they could do 1 to 3 sentences by Monday and email it to me?
Yeah.
I got 1 yes.
This is Linda, that's fine.
Okay, 2 yeses. Lainey, I got a yes. Let's see, do I have any other, let's see, lead teachers?
So it's
We might just need to coordinate. Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got that one hanging out there. So I don't want to commit Sharon to it, but I couldn't do it today. So I'm not sure if I could do it on Monday. I think she might have a better idea of some language to use, but I could do it if we had some time to talk about it.
Yeah, Lisa, maybe what I'll do is I could send you via email, maybe today, a couple sentences, and then you could respond with some things. I'll be out of the office next week at a conference.
Okay.
I'm going to be a little busy.
Yeah, Lelena, you asked to email the names of the courses. I made an attachment. I'll send this out again, but I made an attachment in the invite. I added this PowerPoint, so you'll have these names, but I'll send it out. I will send this out again. Okay, and I think we heard from Linda too that she could do that. So cool. Then if you could get me by 11:01, which is, 11:11. So it's Friday before we're having the training on the 16th, but Friday we should be able to get everything done from our point. So how you want to evaluate or assess how the students are going to learn what you teach them. So some sort of assessment, and it could be an oral assessment, it could be written assessment or something like that. And then any student handouts or items, we're going to get flash drives for every student. And so if you want anything on the flash drive, if you could get that all to me by Friday the 11th. Would that work for everybody?
Yep.
Okay. And Sharon's shaking her head, but you can't hear her shake from here.
So was that a shake yes or a shake?
Yeah.
It was a shake yes.
That's good.
Okay. And then if you could, the training starts at 9, but if you could be there at 8 on the 16th, that, just to any last minute things, I can put on whatever PowerPoints, or we can test there's 3 computers, there are 2 slides that come down, so they're fancy in the big rooms, but then in the small room there's a sort of like a TV monitor type thing, one of the large TVs. Okay. Okay, what do you need from us? One of the questions is when we're going to meet to discuss agendas, but I thought that now you know who is working together, you can work on, whenever you want to meet together.
Sorry, can you go over what technology is available in these rooms?
Yeah, there is a laptop. There are actually 2 laptops that are in the rooms, so it's easier because we can test the laptops. We're going out, Sarah and I and Jose are going out the day before, like at 3 o'clock on the 15th. So we're going to double check everything, make sure they work. But there's a laptop in each of the 2 big rooms and that are connected to the projectors. And in the small room, we're going to be using Liz's laptop, and so you can download anything. So people are going to be bringing their laptops, and one of the things that we obviously have to worry about is the wireless connection that we had in the last, like at the state TA day, there were a lot of people on their laptops, and it didn't seem to be too slow, but they said when we were at the place that they can never guarantee a strong connection. So we might have to double up or triple up on computers, or whoever knows what will happen with technology.
Can the laptops that are presenting laptops be plugged into the internet instead of Wi-Fi?
Good question. Okay.
Because as long as the presenter has Wi-Fi, we should be okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a really good. Jose, can you make sure that the present laptops are actually hardwired to the internet?
And this is Linda. Can I ask, could you double check to see if the laptops will have a DVD access?
Yes. Jose, can you put that on the question that the laptops have DVD. I think I remembered one of them, but I wasn't in all 3 rooms.
Okay. I can just bring mine just in case. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, always bring a spare technology whenever possible.
Okay.
I think either Post-it notes, markers, those big, huge, sticky Post-its for, getting up and moving around, doing trainings are always good.
I agree. So Jose asked put down large Post-it notes, easel pads. I don't know if we need the easel. Yeah, well, I think they have easels there for the easel pads.
Yeah, if not, you can always stick pages directly to the wall to begin with. But
right.
So yeah, the easel pads, the smaller Post-its, markers, tape, all sorts of those things are always good to have.
Yep, good. Okay. Markers, small Post-its, note, tape. Anybody think anything else that you need from us? We are going to be having breakfast at, well, sort of pastries and coffee for breakfast, and then a full lunch.
Will we want to have sign-in sheets?
Yeah, definitely. Write down sign-in sheets.
And evaluations.
Evaluations.
I would suggest some sort of survey, the common evaluations we see for these, short classes to be able to, for participants to quickly evaluate the use of that session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like a half sheet type of thing is what or are you talking about?
As opposed to something done orally or something done, like these are short sessions. I think a little evaluation at the end that they can do in a couple minutes is appropriate.
Okay, cool.
And Erin in our office has a really good one that she uses for training.
Cool. So Jose, can you put that down? Erin has a
training evaluation template.
Yep. Okay. Anything else that you need from us?
I have a question back to the actual trainings and the development of the objectives. So for the spending reconciliation session, Stacy, I think you're the lead on that, and we've got a couple co-presenters. Do you want to take a stab at the objective and description, or do you want to try and collaborate on that before Monday, or how do you want to do that one?
I mean, I'd be happy to collaborate if you guys all have time. Or we could email back and forth a little bit or something, but I don't know what your guys' day is like. Yeah. I'm wondering if we could actually, Rick, have till Tuesday.
Yeah, that's Tuesday the 1st. Is that what the day is?
Give us one more day, and maybe that way we could find some time Monday, maybe the 3 of us, to get on a quick conference call together.
And on that one, when it says updating requisitions, are we really talking transfers there?
Yeah, I think so. I've made a little description in my email. I think you have it in 7. What did I say? I don't remember. Oh, that's not that useful. No, sorry, I thought I said something more useful there. I think I think updating requisitions was both, during the application process, if you're noticing that a requisition isn't what you need it to be, like maybe the site had an extra classroom and then they took the extra classroom out and the requisition is the wrong value, or transfers or merit-based awards, basically using the requisition actions. Maybe we should say reconciling spending and using requisition actions or something like that for the title instead of updating.
Okay, so reconcile spending and what did you say?
Reconciling spending and updating requisition. So I was saying reconciling spending and
using
requisition actions.
Yeah. Is that what you guys want to present on, or do you want to present on something else? We could go a lot of directions with that.
I'm wondering if that's gonna, if we could even expand it somehow. That doesn't seem like it's gonna take an hour and 15 minutes.
I agree with you, except that people ask like a million questions about these topics. So I think what we might want to do is, even in the description, really talk about how this is, bring your questions, and we'll go through specific examples and use cases of trouble you've run into, and make it more of a workshop feeling one.
Yeah,
I agree
absolutely.
with like talk about it, and that would be quick, but then actually getting into the weeds with people on issues they're having.
Yeah, and I would foresee asking them at the beginning of any session, like, what are your questions, so we make sure that we hit what they need.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Bill has done is that we're going to be using the developer database. So when you when people are in the classroom, you can do anything that you want. You won't mess up real records. So this gives you an opportunity to practice. So that was one of the ideas that would be there for the training, is people can get on, log on, and then make changes with the instructor.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And so all the participants are logging into Dev?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a heads up, when we did that at the Colorado Shines conference way back when we were first rolling this out, and Salesforce did it too, it took a lot of time to get people to log in.
Oh, okay.
So, and it might be different because they would just have their regular username and password, right, for our Dev. So they had to get special logins, but
Yeah. So everyone will use like what they currently
their
have,
regular
their
password.
Yeah.
So what we might want to do is in the reminder email, tell people to write down their username and password, because nobody remembers what it is usually.
Yeah. So Jose, can you make sure to write that down as a reminder for bring your password and your username. Thanks.
Will having everybody in that same area slow things down at all? Or my other thought is, with the list of classes, it may only be one of the rooms or two of the rooms per session that are really mucking around in sugar, so it may not be as big of a deal. As I'm thinking.
I don't think the coaching will be in very.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is, like, so one, yes, your concern is valid in that it is a significantly smaller database, and so that means it will be slower. But I think there's going to be, absolutely no portal activity because no providers will be accessing it, so it will just be the people in the room, and my guess is that it won't be a constant flow of people working in Sugar. It'll be one classroom does it for a little bit, and then maybe another classroom does it for a little bit afterwards. So my expectation is that it wouldn't be that much of an issue. And if it is, you can always tell people that, you can put on the projector and have everyone just watch you do it.
Sure.
Any other questions?
So from a logistics standpoint, do we want to have Bill and Rick maybe set up some test sites and test requisitions in Dev?
So we could, or you
just use whatever.
We use whatever.
Except it will send emails.
I'm on top of it.
Turned off email confirmation.
So I figured it would be beneficial to leave them on. So I basically have a series of scripts that update all the email addresses to a Gmail account that I set up.
So we can see. So it's going to be fake email that is sent, but we can still see the fake email. Correct.
Great.
So that would be cool.
Does that make sense to all the trainers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the questions that's come up is, can we record the content? We've had a couple of people that cannot show, and they want to be able to see what we're doing. So does anybody have any problems with, just recording this on? I don't know if we want to do it GoToMeeting or something that's less, web intensive. But are there any problems with recording this or any ideas about it?
Do we have like old school camcorders or something? That would be easy.
Yeah, we might be able to do.
That's probably a better idea, especially if the Wi-Fi is spotty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea is to do old-fashioned camcorders, or maybe we could use the new Surface and then
Oh, yeah.
and you know, record it on computers. Does anybody have any? Linda and Connie, would it be okay to do that?
That's fine.
Sure.
Cool.
Does Clayton have some technology that could help record stuff like that?
I wish we did, but I don't think so.
Drop.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. And maybe we can rent the camcorder. An old.
I think we might have one.
Yeah. Well, we need 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, we can certainly put up a computer that has a camera and just set it in the back.
Yeah, as long as it had good sound pickup, because
Sure.
you can't hear any questions. Liz Houston and I tried to do this on the regional trainings, and it did not. It failed miserably.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Sounds like we should run a test.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we tried to use GoToMeeting, so that was the
Yeah.
issue.
GoToMeeting I'd be really concerned with. Well, first of all, we'd have to get 3 different accounts.
Yeah.
And then, because it is spotty when you want it not to be. So, okay. Does anybody else have anything next? So let me go back to let's see the dates. We changed this to 11/1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then,
But did we answer the question if we want people to re-register, like re-select their
Oh.
spots or not?
what do you guys think about re-registering? Are we okay? First of all, I'm worried about us changing this again. Or is it okay people just to show up and go in the classrooms? I mean, we have approximate numbers. Do you
Does
want?
it affect handouts? Or are you only giving handouts electronically? Like, that would be the only thing I could think of, is if you think you're going to have 10 and you have 25, that's going to be hard if you are trying to make handouts.
I agree.
Do all registrants receive all handouts on the flash drive?
Yes.
Okay, so just if we need
It's just
printouts.
electronic.
Yeah, the idea is the flash drive would have whatever content that you'd want to give, but there might be something that you use as a training tool that you would want, you know, that person to have while they're doing steps or something like that. So we would have to make sure that we make enough of those.
Do you need us to make copies that we need to bring with us to our training, or is that something you guys are prepared to do?
We would be, as long as you get it to me by the 11th, we'd be happy to make anything, but anything after the 11th, if you want to bring your own copies, that's fine too.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll make the copies. What are the thoughts about re-registering?
I think as long as we have rooms set up to accommodate as a maximum group that we're going to allow in there, and they all have electronic handouts, we're probably okay.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is sending out the updated topics.
Yeah.
Whether or not they pick whatever, it's just making sure they know what's up,
Yeah.
what's available.
Yeah, I would, because I mean, even if we send out the announcement, people may change their mind. We may have more people come. We may have less people come. So it gives us an approximate number, but I agree that if we have all the handouts sort of on the flash drives, then I think we'll be okay. And even if we, if we make 20 copies each and people share them, then, that's enough for the maximum size of each classroom.
20 is the max?
No, the max is, I think you could fit 40 in one. So what I was saying, if we make 20 copies and 40 people show up in one of the classrooms, then we'd be okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I think I'm good.
Done.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming to the show.
Thanks
Have,
very much, Rick.
you're welcome. Have a wonderful Friday.
You too.
You too.
Good work earlier today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And a special thank you to Linda and Connie. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.